Hey! I know my voice doesn't sound any better. Can you guess why? I went to Cedar Point yesterday. It was so much fun. I usually only can afford to go once a year before I start work. So I tried to make the most of it. It ended up being a little busy yesterday, but not horrific, oddly enough. Either that or I'm just getting old. Because we didn't ride like everything that I had planned, but we rode most of it. And well, I'll just start at the beginning. We left early enough that we got to the park right at 10, which is when normal people get in. Uh, we walked straight through line and we didn't have any problems. I mean, there was really no line. So it's like, cool, maybe it'll not be busy today. Wishful thinking. It was kind of cloudy in the morning, but it got more cloudy. We were heading straight back to the new ride, Steel Vengeance, and that was a little derailed when Millennium Force came up and it said 15 or less minutes. Like, okay. My brother's never ridden that ride due to his weight, so they strapped him into the seat. Literally, it actually buckled. And so he was super excited. I was super excited. We got in line. We waited the 10-15 minutes. We're like 2 cars away from getting on, and the ride breaks down. It happens. I understand that. We look at each other and go, we did not get that investment of returns or whatever it's called. We haven't spent enough time in line. So we were like, all right, since it pretty sure was mechanical, I didn't hear it, but it looked like it from people talking in boxes and stuff. Like, let's just go. We'll go straight to Steel Vengeance. And we did. So we get there. We were just trying to find out how long it was or something. I don't know. But we actually ended up getting in the wrong line. Now, I've never had a fast pass in my life. And I'm usually really good at noticing which side is the fast pass. However, it was a brand new ride to me. I didn't know what was going on where, and all I could do was, see people in the distance. So I didn't know which line they were actually in. So we walk all the way up and are nearly on the ride, and I'm like, we're in the wrong line. So we must have, just not paid attention. They weren't paying attention to tell us to go in the other line. So we walked all the way back out and got in the other line. And then we waited. It was like something like an hour and 20 minutes, which is not bad for a new ride. Except we went through the queue and we're to the steps again when we heard thunder. We didn't see any lightning, but we heard thunder, and it was one of those really cool rolling thunders. I'm like, all right, that was definitely thunder. And I remember from before that they have to wait at least 20 minutes from the last lightning strike before they can reopen rides. And what's funny is I remember this from like 98 or something, because I can't imagine that policy would need to change in years and years. So a couple more cars got out, and that sort of, I think, confused it. So maybe they didn't get the word right away. Maybe they didn't know what it was. Because if they didn't see the lightning either, I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense to me. But so a couple more went, and then the whole ride shut down. We're like, well, that's great. This would be ride line number 2 that we've gotten in the ride shutdown, but we're like, it might have to do with that thing that we thought was that we heard was thunder. So we're like, we'll wait out the 20 minutes. We're too close. We've invested too much time, and we really want to ride the new ride. So I ended up sitting on the steps since we were right there. I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to need all my energy to get through today, which was great, actually. Because even though my feet hurt some today, it's not as bad as I had expected. So, what? So then the 20 minutes passed and they reopened. And it took them a little bit to get going, which, I mean, it's a ride. I expect this. We got up there and we got the car named after the character that my brother wanted. So he was super, super excited. It was adorable. And I'm like, I'm just really excited by these leg restraints because I've never seen anything like it. And that leaves my upper body free, which I'm always pleased by. I think some of my favorite rides don't have the shoulder harnesses. That being said, woo, it was intense. Like, I thought Maverick was intense. This ride was also super intense. My favorite part was definitely the inversions. Like, I just loved that the way the rolls worked on that ride. The first hill was also amazing. I don't remember as well as I should have because I decided to scream for a long moment. And I think that makes it harder to record in my brain all the other sensations. So, bad me. Next time I won't. Because I don't need to scream on rides. I really don't. And I didn't even, like, I just did, I don't know if people know, like I don't do a full scream. It's more of a tone scream. It's very musical. That's just how I roll. So, the ride, I really enjoyed it. My flabby arms did not enjoy it because I kept hitting right where the top of the car was. And I'm like, oh, that really hurts when I hit it. So about 2/3 of the way in, I grabbed the weird joystick holdy handle things. And that helped, but it was kind of already too late by then. So, new ride, you live and you learn. I still enjoyed it. I think I will enjoy it more once my body understands what to do on the ride. Because that's the perks of getting old. We got out of line on that and decided, since it was already 1, to go look for food. And I mentioned the fact that there was delicious funnel cake to my brother. And he was like, ooh, that sounds amazing. So I checked the usual place in the back and I did not see it. That being said, I don't know if their little menu signs are everything that they have now. I don't know if they're just trying to streamline stuff or bring in people for certain things and then they actually have more on the menu. But I did not see anything for it. So I was like, that's fine. We'll just keep walking until we find that or a donut place because I've been craving a real freshly made donut for weeks now. And there are not that many places in town that can fill this need, especially because they're not a name brand. So I'm never out in the morning when donuts are readily available. So it's like, all right, fine. We kept walking. We went from Frontier Town to the bit on the back Midway something. And Gemini was walk on. We're like, I love Gemini. Let's just do it. So yes, of course. And we rode in the blue car, and we didn't win, but that's okay, because, I mean, it's Gemini, and I kept telling my brother to slap everybody's hand, but nobody wanted to slap hands. It was so sad. I hate that. I loved it. It's still... Yesterday was a little rough, but not horrible. Not horrible for sure. We hopped off that and kept walking around, and that led us to Magnum. And that was also walk on, so I was like, well, we're trying to get rides in. They don't all have to have lines. And that one was rougher than usual for me. That's okay. I mean, my body says it's not okay, but I know that there are lots of factors to going in how a ride's going to come across to me. And I was like extra sensitive to noises and things, so I think that also contributed to my reaction on the coasters. Just made me a little sad, but it is what it is. I can't tell my body to stop feeling the way that it does. So we hopped on that. I got a little. I'm not bruised on the outside, but I feel bruised on the inside on my thighs. And that ride always gets me there because of the bar restraint. We then were like, well, we definitely need to find food now. So got off and walked past Dragster, which was 45 at the time. I thought that was really surprising. But we're like, we don't have time for that. We need to go get food. So we ended up walking all the way to the front where I knew for sure there was a funnel cake stand. And we had that. It was so good. It was so good. I ate a little under half. And I enjoyed every bite. And we both had decided that was going to be like full lunch. And then we were going to have like a normal dinner. But I don't know if anybody else has this, but when I go to an amusement park, I tend to eat less. As long as I get like a normal like protein bit somewhere in there, I'm good all day. It's nice. It's nice. So we did that, and I think I liked the ice cream with the funnel cake part the best. The other stuff was nice too, but I think having those two things together, I enjoyed the most. Then it was 2, so I went to go see if one or both of my friends were working that I know that were working that day. And yes, indeed, well, one of them was. It was not the one I was thinking I was going to see, which was fine. I was like, "Oh yay, hello!" And of course, I'm sad that I missed my other friend. But she was actually in my house doing grabbing fabric. Like, oh, that's right. I forgot the second floor was all fabric and other stuff. Because lots of costumes to make, especially if they're working just for the Halloween stuff coming up. Got a whole month to make things. I'm curious to see what new stuff they'll have. I know one of the shows sounded interesting, and hopefully I'll get the chance to see it. It looks like it's possible, based off the times I saw at the board. I'm sorry, I'm still tired. I got up a little bit earlier than I had planned today. So I talked to her for a little bit and got, not necessarily caught up on things, but just having normal conversation. My brother standing there listening, not being awkward at all, because he does a good job of listening and gathering information. Because you never know when that's going to be useful, especially with my bad memory. Be like, what did so-and-so say? I don't remember. It doesn't happen very often, but if my brain just doesn't record it, it doesn't record it. We left after I said my goodbyes, and we headed straight back to Dragster, and the time had changed from 45 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes. My brother still wanted to wait in line. I was like, today's only half about me. All right. Because I usually don't. I'll skip when the line gets that long. And it wasn't too bad. We kept ourselves entertained. The girls in front of us, not so entertaining for me. I was never that kind of young. But, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? We got on the ride and it was fantastic. That is still one of my favorites. Just, but, when each car was coming down on the other side, you could hear the rattling on our end before the train came back in. I was like, that's really interesting. So at least that warned me every time a train was coming so I could plug it whichever ear was facing the track just to cut down on all the noise. After that, we decided we were going to look into Millennium Force again. And that led us to also an hour 15 wait, which we were kind of like, maybe we'll just check back again. Oh, no, I gotta rewind. We were walking on our way over there. And before we made it across, they closed the train tracks because the train was coming. I was like, that's my sign that we should go check out Rougarou, because maybe we'll get lucky. And we did. It was a walk-on. I was like, sweet. I don't get to ride that one terribly much because it's sort of tucked in, and you never know, like, if it's going to have a line or whatever. So we got on that, and it was also pretty cool. I'd like to mention at this point that for all of the rides, I was wearing my glasses, which is a whole new experience for me. I've got one of those cheapo straps, so my glasses would not fly off. And it's the best dollar that I've spent in a long time. I could ride everything without a problem, and I could actually see on the rides. It's a really different experience when you cannot focus on anything, because I'm pretty blind without them. I mean, like, I can still tell you shapes and stuff, but I can't read anything unless it's huge from far away. So it was just really nice. I was getting all of my senses were experiencing. I don't know if that changed some things. I do know that just adding the band to my head was making me fight a headache for most of the day, but that's on me. I was the one that wanted to wear it. And it was worth it for the visuals. It really was. So, Rougarou, that was a lot of fun. And I could tell that my brother was having fun because he can ride all of those without using, like, the fat man belt. So that was very exciting for him. And I was excited for him. I really was. He's been working hard to improve his health. Let's see here. So then we crossed the bridge because the train was done, and then we saw the Millennium Line. We're like, let's head back to Maverick. It's probably, it's probably gonna be close to the same, but willing to wait a little bit more on that, and then it'll be closer to evening, and Millennium Force should maybe go down a little, and I wouldn't mind riding again at night, so more on that in a moment. So yeah, the line was an hour for Maverick. We're like, just gotta do it. We got the time. Just before we get into line, I happen to be looking around, observing people, as you do when you're at a park. And I went, hey, that guy over there looks like this guy that we know. And he's like, well, yeah, a little bit. But he looks different. I'm like, it still really looks like him. So this was just walking around. So we get in line and we go through. I got to watch the Nature Channel in front of us. It was great. Maverick has part of the old queue. They just left to go into the new inside under where you could get on for whitewater landing, and so there's just a bit of this tiny waterfall where the ride actually was that they just kept because it was concrete, and these three birds were like, we're hanging out here, this is our territory. And I think one was a male and two were females because they had the same look, but the coloring was different. And the male was sort of keeping watch, and the females were like, we're going to take a bath. And so they were ruffling their feathers and getting wet. And I was just like, oh, aren't you adorable? Why is my camera in the car? Because I didn't want to have to worry about it for Steel Vengeance. And they were, I want to say, mostly very vigilant. If I wanted to see a little bit more, but it's hard if they don't see it and they walk away and then somebody's trying to be sneaky. I'm like, I know why they did this. It's for safety. I get it. I just hope in time that they invest or look into other options rather than just the lockers. Because they have bins on most of their other rides. Personal opinion, personal opinion. I still enjoyed everything about it. Just, I missed having my phone yesterday. Not today. My phone's right there. That was, so yes. After watching the Nature Channel, which was fabulous, we continued on with the line, and then we still had most of the line to go through at that point. So we're watching the TVs that they have for all their queues. Some of the stuff is actually really interesting and I enjoy greatly. Some of it, not so much, but that's not for me. A little over halfway, I just scan the group and I'm like, there's that guy again. And I'm having my brother look over. I'm like, it really looks like that guy. And he's like, there's this thing that's different. I'm like, yeah, I know. If he turns around though, I bet it's him. And sure enough, it was. So for the rest of the queue, we were like, well, can we get his attention? Maybe. But there was enough queues between line sections between us that it was not going to be easy. So we're like, well, the queue changes over here, so maybe it timed just right that we were moving to the steps when they were far enough that they were hitting the edge of the queue, but where it snakes differently. And I'm just being weird, so I was like, I'm wearing this bright pink shirt. Maybe if I get within his line of sight, he'll see me. Totally didn't, but my brother called out his name, and that was enough, and we said hello and then made it on our way. But it was just so funny because we're like, of all the people to see in the park the same day, it would be this one person. It made complete and utter sense to us. Like, he's everywhere. Then we rode Maverick, and it was fabulous because it was the first time for me that I had zero things in my pockets. Because sometimes I'll have like change or something else attached to my person where I sort of have my hand on in my pocket, and I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I not secure it just a touch better? Because I'm wearing just a little bit, and that's on me. Because I mean, it's like most of my pockets are fine, but just that once in a while I'll be like, oh, I wore the wrong pockets today. It's usually when I'm just running over there before work or something. So I had zero things in my pocket, so I'm like, I'm not worrying about anything. I'm just gonna hold right here on the straps, cause that ride throws you around, and I know it, but I love it, and yeah, it was a really great time. That was one of my most enjoyable Maverick experiences. Yeah, yeah, and they had the water. I don't know what you call that. Cannons going when you go past the first section of the ride. And I was like, yay! I love stuff like this. We didn't ride any water rides yesterday. Well, my brother doesn't like them. And as the day went on, it actually was getting cooler, so then I didn't want to ride them. So I was like, all right, cool, that works out for me. After Maverick, we were like, let's skip the walking part because we were already kind of getting tired. And so we're like, let's take the train. And I think we actually took the train once around before we got in line for Maverick because we were getting tired. And we're like, that line. Yeah. Because it actually lost the 15 minutes from our train go around because we did one complete rotation, get off our feet. I got to enjoy Bonesville like I do every time, like a big dork, but that's okay. We're all allowed to be a little kid sometimes, right? I think so. Within reason. And then I'm waving at everybody. I got some people to wave back. It made me happy. Yeah, so then we lost the 15 minutes on Maverick, and that made it easier to get on. That's what happened. After that, we're like, okay, we'll take the train back to the main station and go and look for food there because we looked right around there and we just weren't finding anything we wanted to eat at that time. Like, all right. Also, that was when we saw that were completely shutting down everything for Steel Vengeance. So I guess it also went down, I'm assuming for mechanical stuff, but it was not coming back up, which made me a little sad, especially for those in the park that wanted to ride that didn't get the chance to. But I was also thankful that we got in line as early as we did and dealt with it. Sorry, my eyes are still bugging me from yesterday. Felt like I was getting stuff in them all the time. They're very, very sensitive. I'm glad that they're not, like, red right now. So we rode back and got off the train. We got off the train and we headed straight to the diner place that was there because I know he wanted to sit down, which was fine with me. Sit down dinners, it's a nice refresher. Didn't see anything in there that we wanted to eat either. We're like, that's fine. I was like, well, that leaves the two other restaurants that we usually check out when we come and eat. And the one, he was like, let's not even bother to go over there this time. I'm like, oh, okay. Because I was almost expecting him to say, let's go check that one out. But I mentioned the other place earlier, and I sort of think he got that one into his head, which is fine. He actually later said he had a good feeling about it, and that worked out because we were in and out of there in less than an hour. I thought it would have been busier. So we go in there. We're looking at the menu while they're waiting to have us seated. We're like, well, let's just figure out what we want now. And that way they could get the order in right away. And we tried to get some cherry Coke, and that didn't work. So I got my my Gold Peak raspberry tea, which it's one of those places that has it on a tap, fountain, whatever. And I was like, yes, please, I will take that. Go, 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 go. Because it's so hard to find it, but especially on tap. I mean, what you gonna do? It is what it is. It was still delicious. I lost my train of thought. That's what I get for realizing that I was getting close. Okay, so we were in the restaurant. I had my delicious Gold Peak. He ended up getting regular Coke. You make do. And I had taken a bathroom break. And in that time, he had already finished his first drink. It's like, yes. A little bit more thirsty than I thought. Well, that's okay, because I ended up finishing my first drink pretty quick, too. The second one, not so much. It was still good, though. We also got our food fairly quickly, and we had good timing because with, 10, 15 minutes after we got in, a whole bunch of people came in for dinner. It's like, that is a good feeling. So we got our burgers. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. After we finished eating and having our drinks, we headed back out. And I was like, well, we have Valraven, maybe Iron Dragon, and Millennium Force left. I was like, well, let's try Millennium Force again. I'm like, yep, again. So we walked back over there. Oh, good. Yeah, I swear, I'm gonna get it done. It's gonna happen. We get over there, and the line is now an hour. It's like, all right, cool. So we get in there. We're just, doing our thing, looking at people's shirts. I had one guy actually, chuckle over my shirt because of a Sailor Moon shirt. I'm like, yay. Because I had, no reactions, really, for today. People were reading it, but nothing. I'm like, just like my shirt, please. And we get all the way up inside the housing area for the train, and it goes down again for mechanical error. I'm like, what is with today in this ride? Because, I've ridden it probably at least a dozen times and not ever really had to wait for a mechanical error. Just the luck of the draw. I think it was the lift again, which, if they're going to have problems with it, it seemed likely to me that they'd have it more than once. It's like, we've already invested the time now. I feel good about us staying in line. He felt the same way, so we did. And what's funny is we had maybe about 2 or 3 cars before we were getting on. And for the spot that we picked, I was like, let's not do the front, because by this point, it was already sunset and past. And if anybody knows anything about fast roller coasters at night, through wooded areas, there be bugs. Lots of bugs. And I'd have once ridden Millennium Force at night in the front. And I remember it being painful having these bugs come at me at 93 miles per hour. So I was like, not the front. Somebody else can take that. So we waited, I don't know, roughly 15, 20 minutes. They started running cars again. Like, yes, sweet, we're going to do it. And we get on. I get my belt on. Bro sits next to me. Can't get his belt on. I'm going, oh no, it's because we ate or something. Because I know weight fluctuates even during the day. And it could be as much as he was just retaining more water, but he could not get the belt buckled. The guy tried helping him, and after, I think, even 5 attempts, it was just not happening. So they politely asked him to get off the ride. And I was super bummed because I know he really wanted to ride it. And if it hadn't broken down earlier, I think that he definitely would have been able to. So I ride by myself because they're waiting on us. So I wasn't going to try and get off as well. For me, that was my best experience of the night. And it goes back to the lower restraints versus upper restraints. It doesn't bang my head around. And it just felt like a really smooth ride. I was going like this half the time, covering up my glasses because I really didn't want to wipe bug guts off my glasses. And every time we went down into the forest, I had them covered. I could feel bugs bouncing off, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then when we go up, I would just put my arms up and go, ah, because there were no bugs up there. So it worked out very well for myself, and I had a good time. And it was over far too quick. But that ride is always over far too quick. I got off, we met back up at the exit. He was not as upset as I thought he was going to be, which, I mean, is good. I was still kind of upset for him, though, because that's just how I am, especially since he has been working so hard. We went over to back to Iron Dragon, and the wait, and this is now for the VR stuff, that it went from 8 to midnight, and it was 45 minutes. We both done it before, and we're like, 45 minutes for the VR. We were getting tired by that point. I'm like, no, let's just go over to Valraven, because we'll probably have to wait for a bit for that one. When I saw the line, I went, that's definitely not what it was earlier. Because we did stop by at one point. I think that was an hour and 15. We're like, I love this ride, but no. He double checked to make sure that he fit in the seat, and that was good. When we actually got in line, because it said there was a 45-minute wait, either nobody checked to change it or something, because that was no 45 minutes, and I was super happy with it. I was like this close to getting back in line, but after riding it once, we were both feeling like we got banged up just enough, and I was now really fighting that headache. It was still fun, though. I still love that ride. But my body said that I was done. It's like, all right, cool. But we were on in, I think, 17 minutes. I was like, yes, I will take this. Because we also, it's not that we don't want to stay stay the length of the park being open. But once it gets to be about nighttime, we're pretty tired by that point, and I like beating the traffic, cause yeah, I do. So once we got off that, we were basically done. We didn't even want to like shop or look at snacks or anything. So it was 10:10 when we were walking out the front gates. Like, this was better than last time, because I think we had gotten there. Must have gotten an email. We usually, I think we left last year a little bit earlier than that, because we were wasted. So we both improved as far as getting, like, walking in and going the whole day, I would say. We were in the park for 12 hours, so it worked out. Yeah, and like I said, we rode basically everything. We missed Gatekeeper and Corkscrew. I never go out of my way for it, because I do not like those rides. Other people like them. That's cool. I just do not. They don't do anything for me. Raptor we might have, but we were just too tired by that point. And the same with Blue Streak. That I have to sort of prepare myself for that, because I'm not as young as I used to be. As for the littler rides, it's sort of hit or miss whether or not I'm actually going to ride them. Like, I got to ride some of them last year, because my friend at work, she really liked riding the carousel. I was like, oh, I haven't been on this in like over a decade. Let's just do it. And so that was a lot of fun. And I like riding Ocean Motion and like Troika. And I don't know, do we have Calypso anymore? They keep changing the littler rides too, and that makes it harder for me. Matterhorn, I like that one. So, I mean, I do like some of the little rides. Monster, I need to make sure that I ride that some more this year, later on. because I really do like that ride. One ride I do not like is Witch's Wheel, and that's because I think it ruined me. Sad face. After I rode it, rides were just never quite the same. I think it moved something in my ears. But yeah, so we walked out of the park, got in the car, took some headache meds, and started on the long trek home. Once we were getting back to town, we were nearly sideswiped by a car that was trying to merge lanes. That scared us because it happened so fast because he was going like 75 and we were going like 55 because I think it was a 50, and vroom, and any closer, because I think he was like a foot away, I think he would have hit the corner of the car, and yeah, that wasn't fun, but everything else was. So that was yesterday. For those of you that like parks, I hope that you found this interesting. I really wanted to take video there, but obviously I left my phone in the car and I wasn't going to bring the tablet. Sacrifices to ride roller coasters. I'd rather just leave in the car and tell you guys about it later than worry about it. So maybe next time we can get some other things. So, and it's not like most people haven't at least seen other videos of it, so you kind of know what I'm talking about. If I can get down to Disney or Universal, then there will be probably a lot of videos because I want to talk about those since I haven't done them in so long. Someday. All right, I'm rambling now. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna go up next because I don't have anything planned other than to do art and other stuff for the next few weeks. And then I've got a process in day for work, and then a little bit more time. And then Halloween weekend starts, so yay! For those that like Halloween scary stuff, yay! So yay! Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I hope that you guys like this one and whatever I have come down the road. Thank you. Bye bye!